Three. 1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel with old Amar from San Diego here. I just got out. Beautiful day here in North Georgia, Amar. I imagine you're getting snow and hurricanes out there, aren't you?
It's a beautiful day in San Diego again. Yeah, I got to be careful. Somebody may be like anti-San Diego.
Why? Why would they be anti-San Diego?
Yeah, because it's like Groundhog's Day here.
Oh. Well, I thought because like the California, I was like, I hate California. It's like, okay,
yeah.
Whatever. Amar's not moving to. Let's put it this way: he's not moving to freaking Tennessee anytime soon. Okay, so you don't have to worry about Amar showing up with the California tags going to Tennessee or Idaho.
Did you know Tennessee right now has the highest amount of inventory of single-family homes for sale? I just read it on an article. Yeah, I just read this article in Barron's. We're looking at like real estate and how different markets are drastically different, right? And in Tennessee, specifically Nashville, they have the highest inventory of single-family homes on the market right now across the U.S.
Yeah. What's the lowest? Hawaii.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was like one of those ones that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. That's crazy. Nashville area, huh? But I'm sure they're still way low compared to historical norms too.
So. Oh, sure. I'm just saying at the present moment.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. All right, so what we want to talk about in our half hour, everybody, is we want to talk about, because as much as I bash, fees and all that stuff, it's silly to say there's no value added to hiring a professional advisor. That's simply just not true. Some people absolutely need to have a professional advisor. I think actually more people than they think, frankly, Amar. I think if you look at our own careers, I guarantee you say the people who did not have a professional advisor, I think there's a lot of people in there who could have benefited to actually pay for the services of a professional advisor, because they paid other ways without having they didn't write a check, but they certainly paid in other ways for sure. And I just think the value there is something that we need to revisit, because a lot of people think, oh, I can do this all on my own. Maybe I know enough about electricity to where I can mess around with it, but I'm not trying to I'm going to hire somebody to do stuff. I'm not doing that myself. You know what I'm saying? And as such, it's value added for me to hire an advisor to do that for me. Now, other people say no, that's fine. But so that's what I wanted to talk about here today, Amar. And should I bring up these slides that you got there?
I think we should.
And start with your disclosure, if you will.
Yeah.
By the way, we'll take questions at the end. So I'm starring your question, fun guy. And I got Cal's on here too. We got fun guys on here. So we will get your question at the end about Fisher, a fun guy for sure.
So this will be a good one. Good episode for fun guy to watch, because we're going to talk about all different types of advisors. But real quick, our disclosures, right? Like we're not entering into a client agreement, client advisory type of agreement. And all the stuff we're talking about is just for educational purposes only. If you want to learn more, or if you want to connect with us, you can reach out to us. For me, I have a YouTube channel, which is Client First Capital Learning. And if you're watching on Josh's channel, go watch on my channel. Yeah. Help me out. And the two other ways is that we have a newsletter that goes out, which you can subscribe on our website, which is www.clientfirstcap.com. And then obviously you can just reach out to us directly with a phone call. But today we're going to talk about the value of an advisor. And we created this slide a couple of years ago. And I kind of, I had some interesting numbers here, Josh. How many people do you think that are out there that are in their retirement or investment or Social Security or Medicare type business that help retirees specifically? Take a wild guess.
Yeah, I'll say probably, it's 80,000, something like that, CFPs. I'll say 500,000.
Yeah, I was thinking the number was closer to 500,000. It's actually 1.5 million. There are 1.5 million people out there that can call themselves an advisor, that can sell you a product that helps you with retirement plan. That means annuities, life insurance, Medicare gap insurance, can give you tax advice, income advice, retirement planning advice, estate planning, 1.5 million of those professionals out there.
That's 50% more population than the whole state of Maine. That's 1.5 million people. That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of financial professionals. So those financial professionals fall in this realm, and I would say a majority of them are just having like a product, like a portfolio solution, Medicare supplement insurance, long-term care, annuities. They're just product driven, right? That's the majority of our industry.
Yeah.
I would say in the next tier, which is achieving goals here, there's actually 98,883 CFPs.
What?
And I bet you, yeah. So I pulled these numbers just this morning. So
there's almost 100,000 CFPs now.
Yeah, it's crazy. But and I would say there's probably like another 50,000 advisors out there that actually do planning, right? So let's just round up and say that there's about 150,000 advisors that focus on achieving goals.
Yeah.
And so what does it mean to achieve a goal, right? Well, achieving a goal gets you to where you need to be. And I think the big three things that they focus on is your probability of success to make sure that you can actually get there. They optimize your retirement income. So here I have just a quick example, right? And let's assume you're living in San Diego, because I did California state tax here. But if you had all your money in an IRA and you needed 100,000 to live off of, you would have to withdraw 116,000, because 10,000 goes to the Fed and approximately 4,300 goes to the state of California, which gives you 101,000 in your pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you did some good retirement income optimization or tax planning for retirement, really that IRA distribution could be 55,000, and then the other half comes from a Roth IRA, so you get the other 50,000 there.
Exactly.
So the taxes that you pay on a federal level is about 3,000, and it's about 1,000 in state. You have the same lifestyle. These two individuals have the exact same lifestyle, but the one over here on my right saved roughly about $11,000 for that year. And imagine in retirement, for most of us, retirement is for multiple years, right? And so, multiply this by 10, 20, 30, whatever, your longevity is, right? That's some serious tax savings, right? And this is just in this example. We didn't include the IRMA calculations or anything else like that. Another area is tax planning, right? Like that we just kind of went over for optimizing income, but a lot of times in retirement, you'll hear about Roth conversions, right? And I wanted just to show an example of an actual client and some things that a good advisor that's planning for you would be aware of, right? So when we look at our marginal rate here, Josh, I don't know if you can see this. It looks really small on my side, but the 24% tax bracket last year was between 178 and 340, right? Their taxable income was 225. So, somebody could say, hey, you have a lot of room to do a Roth conversion, right? And they do, right? And somebody would just say, hey, let's do up to 340,000, get you to the top of the tax bracket. But there's got to be things that you got to be aware of. And one of the big ones is the IRMA calculation for Medicare. And that really affects Part B and Part D. Okay. And on the right here, I have the table here. And the top of that table for that individual, so they had 226 in income. But when you add back the IRMA stuff, the calculation became 289. They're really, the top of that modified adjusted gross income can't be more than 322,000, right? So it's less than the tax brackets, right? So you have two sets of brackets that you're working with, income brackets and the IRMA brackets. So for this individual, a Roth conversion that pushes their modified adjusted gross income over 322 would probably not be in their best interest, right? Like, there are a lot of other factors, but just looking at this from a high level, they would have to pay more in Medicare Part B and D if they did the 340, right? So roughly, what is that, 18,000 extra Roth conversion could throw off your Medicare premiums, right?
That's going to give them another, $1,000, no more than, about $3,000 more, but actually more than that, of Medicare premium. So the extra $18,000, you just out $6,000 right out the gate.
Yeah, and so the big three that I think of is optimizing your retirement income, minimizing your taxes, and then avoiding unnecessary risk, right? And so avoiding unnecessary risk, I think the core solution to that is just make sure you have enough cash on hand to weather any financial storms, any stock market storms. Nobody can predict the future. So you just need to have enough cash that you don't make an emotional decision and get off the wrong path there.
And on that, we'll go back to that one just a second. And so right here, and then you factor in Social Security as well. Social Security is out there looming as well. So it's another, turn that we got, tool that we have to use in terms of IRA, Roth IRA, Social Security, how to minimize the taxes and whatnot as well. And that's just, you got to look at all three. And a lot of people don't. They just don't, man. That's all there is to it. And that's the wrong answer.
Yeah, remember, there's 1.5 million, and we're estimating 150,000 actually do full comprehensive financial planning, right? That's a lot of people, 150,000. But if you take a look at the industry, zoom out, it's 10%. So I think that's the next level, achieving your goals, is really that 150,000 advisors really focus on that. Of that 150, I would say a good half or a third, somewhere in there. So basically, that's 30 to 50,000 or 50 to 75,000 of advisors focus on making sure their clients have peace of mind, right? And I think this is important. And what peace of mind is allowing you to not worry about your financial situation. And that happens in several different areas. So hopefully this works, but I thought we had some comedy to this. So I got a bunch of gifts here. So imagine each one of these shelves is different parts of your financial life. And so you got to organize your investments, your taxes, your estate planning, your Social Security planning, long-term care planning, and really get it organized so that way it's very easy for somebody else to step into your financial picture and understand what your plans are. One of the ways that we do this, Josh, is that we've created a client portal that has a vault, and in the vault we have a folder system where you can store your documents, like your estate planning documents, your healthcare directives, your power of attorneys. And that's actually from personal experience, because my dad, when he was in the hospital, my dad's passed, but when he was in the hospital, and the doctors were asking for the healthcare directives, of course they had it. Their son, their only son, was a financial advisor, so they had all these documents, but they were at home and they were organized in this fancy binder in the office, right? And obviously, my mom or myself wanted to leave my dad's bedside, so. We've created this online portal where you can just pull it from your phone. You can even call us, and we can email it or fax it to the hospital directly. So the first value proposition for an advisor that's giving you peace of mind is they're going to help you organize. The second thing is that they're going to give you some accountability, right? And I've worked with a lot of people in talking about long-term care or life insurance or estate planning is a topic that nobody really wants to talk about because you're losing a loved one, right? And I feel like one of the things that an advisor can do is make sure that you have the right documents, make sure that they're correct in terms of who you want as trustee, who do you want as healthcare directives, and making sure you have the right people in the right place and the documents are up to date. And maybe the accountability boost is merely just pushing you to actually get it done,
Well, let me interject there, Amar, because I think a lot of those 150,000, I know for a fact that let me just talk about the big box store financial guys, first of all. Anything that has to do with legal or taxes, they're going to just say, go consult your tax advisor, go consult your legal advisor. Amar and I will never hold ourselves out to be legal, and we'll never hold ourselves out to be tax pros. However, we know enough to ask the right questions. And it drives me insane. Well, I'm paying these guys a fee, and I have some questions about just a basic capital gain issue. Go talk to your tax advisor. Well, that's the wrong answer. And I just, especially when it comes to legal stuff like accountability too. Did you ever get your powers of attorney done? No. Did Vanguard or the big box stores, I'm just picking on Vanguard just because someone sent me an email on Vanguard earlier today. Had they ever told you about that? Well, they told me, but did they ever follow up with it? No. That's the stuff that can't be neglected, man. And because that's the stuff that's going to bite your spouse, or in this case, Amar's mom, in the bud if she's not prepared for this stuff.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Oh, it drives you crazy.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I think the one key thing you said is a lot of the big box places, you have to stay in your lane. You can't, deviate. And so most of these 150,000 planners that we're talking about, the ones that are independent or in a platform where they can give advice is probably smaller than that, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
The third thing is that an advisor is objective, right? They're not living your life. So, there's facts and there's a lot of emotions involved with financial decisions and stuff like that. And having an advisor gives you an unbiased third party, right? And that can help prevent making emotionally driven decisions, right? And give you some, some balance in the mix of making financial choices.
Yeah, I actually think it's important because the unbiased part of that is as especially an independent advisor who's not working for a big box. And I'm not trying to bash the big box, but the facts are the big boxes have they know what they got to do. And unbiased and an independent advisor says, no, I don't like that, but I do like this or something. And I'm not just talking about investments. I'm talking about all kinds of stuff. There is a factual or an unbiased premise that says if you're hiring a fiduciary, he'll be unbiased in his presentation to you, for sure. And I'm not even sure these big boxes, they can hold themselves as fiduciaries. I challenge that. But anyway, I don't want to put you on the spot there, Amar.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you're manufacturing your own products and you have ticking marks and sales goals for your own products, it's
how can you be unbiased? How can you be unbiased if you have sales goals? You can't be unbiased. It's inherent.
All right. The fourth one here is proactive, right? I mean, I think one of the keys that
look at Crusty the Crown. I just gotta say, my man, hold on. Look at Silent Cal right here. He loves him some Crusty the Crown.
So one of the keys of being an advisor that's been in the business for 20 years or so is that you work with hundreds of people retiring, right? Like right now, my oldest client is 93. Last year was 104. And we get to see individuals in different stages of life. And so if you're in your 60s, we know what you're going to experience in your 70s, right? Like just some of the thoughts that you'll have, some of the planning needs. And trust me, there are patterns in this business as people age. That there's a lot of things that come up that's that we can plan for in advance. And a good advisor will be proactive in that planning. I'm going to go a little bit faster just in the interest of time here, but
keep going.
Education, right? There's not one way to cut down a tree, right? If you had a tree and you use the axe in one angle and you only did the angle, your axe would get stuck, right? A good advisor will provide you education about your options. So you have option A, B, and C. Here are the pros, here are the cons. Where do you feel comfortable, right? And the worst thing is that with this some of these things is that like there's only one option. No, there's not. There's never just one option in financial planning. There's multiple options, and you should know what the options are, the pros, the cons, and how to move forward from there. I think my mouse is there we go. Lastly, it is a partnership. You got to have a good working relationship with an advisor because getting you to your goals is a partnership. And you want to find somebody that's vested in making sure that they get something out of making sure that you hit your goals emotionally, right? Yep. I mean, most of the good advisors that are out there, they're not just doing it for money. I'm sure that's part of it, but they're also doing it because they're helping people to do things that they wouldn't be able to do by themselves. They're actually kind of peeling the layers of the onion to get to the next level for those clients.
Go back real quick to number 4. I want to just say something on the proactive nature. All right, so we got a couple questions coming up here. I'll ask. We'll get into it in just a second. Amar was saying, and this is the one drawback I have about YouTube and all these financial gurus out there. Some are good, but they come from an outside business world into financial, I'd say, coaching. And this is just for me. I've been doing this since 1998. Amar's been, he's only 22 years old, so he's been doing it since last 5 days. But we've seen, I cannot stress enough, it's not just we read bogleheads and stuff. We've actually been through real world scenarios of going back to the late 90s. We had not just the tech bubble, but this is after the Japanese tiger, all this stuff. And you can see it time and time and time again. And you develop a level of knowledge that some guy who used to work in, he used to be a Chick-fil-A spokesman, and now he sees some financial planning. Nothing inherently wrong with that. But has he actually been engaged with clients when the chips are falling off the table? And if the answer is no, then what is he doesn't even know? And then these DIY guys, it's like, you've never been in retirement. How would you know what you don't know? And you'll say, oh, I've seen my parents. That's just one sample. That's a sample. That's an N of 1, a sample size of 1, not statistically relevant. People have been around for a long time, have seen this. And I can't stress this enough, Amar, the lack of knowledge on real world scenarios for some of these financial guys that really, it's like kind of disturbing, because you're sitting there, some of these guys offer great advice, but you're like, man, that sounds good. But what if, actually I interviewed this guy yesterday, this professor, good guy. We're talking about the guardrail strategy. And he's like, man, the guardrail strategy for the last 15 years has been great. But previous to that, it wasn't great. And the facts are, a lot of newer guys have never seen a down market of any significance. You know what I'm saying, Amar? Never seen a down market. And it's, I can't stress enough how important it is to find someone who's got experience. All right, you ready for some questions, or what's your?
No, I got more slides, buddy.
Keep going.
And so we got down to 50 to 75,000 advisors, I think, really give clients peace of mind.
Yeah.
Of that 50 to 75,000, I would say there's probably about 10,000 that are focused on giving their clients fulfillment, right? Like a purpose-driven retirement, purpose-driven next chapter, focus on leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
This is where we focus our time. And I wanted to just show a couple of the ways that we try to go up the value stack, if you will. So the first thing is understanding that your wealth planning here, I don't know if you can see my mouse on your screen, but yeah, wealth planning, which encompasses investments, taxes, charitable planning, estate planning, that has to be tied to your values and your family dynamics, right? Like if you're not looking at all 3 when you're making any decision, if you're only looking at one or 1 or 2, then you're not making like a great decision looking at all the pieces that it can affect, right? So wealth planning with your values really determines your legacy, right? And wealth planning with your family dynamics really determines your harmony, right? So I've seen time and time again where parents have not communicated their wants or wishes with their children. Parents pass away, and I'm working with the children, and it's like they're pulling each other's hair out, and siblings that used to get along don't get along. I mean, it's just nasty because money has become, a larger part of that dynamic, that emotion. And then if you do all these well, you can really have multi-generational planning or, impact on community, right? And so there are many ways to do this. One of the things that we focus on is Doug Lennox, who used to be my boss at American Express Financial Advisors, wrote this book called The Intelligent Advisor. And he talks about the alignment model, which essentially you take what's important to you, identify experiences that you want, and then track your budget to make sure that all 3 are in alignment, right? And so we've created this next decade planning worksheet If you like it, you can reach out to us. Don't mind emailing it to you.
Or he says to us, he's talking about him. Don't reach out to me. Reach out to Amar because I don't.
Yeah, just reach out to me, or even if you go on our website, you can just download it there. But basically, what we want to identify is what's important to you. Find experiences that you want to have, and then say like, hey, let's say you meet the proverbial doctor, and then you realize that like, you have 5 years left to live. How do we create priorities with the experiences that you want to have, so then move them to the top, and then how do we build those into your financial plan? And I think really that is the heart of getting purpose-driven retirement, right? Absolutely. Focusing your dollars that you have on things that you want to do. So yeah, 25 minutes and 40 seconds, not bad.
So just going back to the 150,000, then we'll get in these comments here. I don't know if y'all know this, but there's only like less than 10,000 who have a CFP and a CFA designation. That's it. And Amar is one of those guys. And so I'm not saying Amar is greater than sliced bread or anything. I'm just saying in terms of qualifications and experience, having a CFA and a CFP combined, there are very few people who have that. So the problem with the CFP is it's somewhat been diluted. Frankly, I remember I think when I passed, it's only like 10,000 CFPs. I think something like that. I think it was only 10,000. Now we got 100,000. Now this is going back 20 years now, but still, the CFP gradually being diluted relative to CFA, and I just find that I just want to point that out. All right, so Fun Guy says his pops will be retiring in the next few years. He's considering using Fisher Investments as a company. I've been researching every day to try to give him the best advice possible. And then he says Fisher charges 1.25, hard pill to swallow unless they bring more value. Yeah, 100%. So this guy right here, Mar, is saying hard to pay 1.25 unless they bring more value to the table above and beyond their long-term cost of their fee for investing. Yeah.
Just go back to the slides. Can you put the slides back on? Yeah. So like you can have an advisor that's charging 1.25 that could just be providing investment advice,
right?
Or you can have an advisor that's working towards your peace of mind, and they could be charging the same fee.
Exactly.
That's what just blows my mind is like this industry has gone to like, what is the average fee, not what is the value I'm getting from that fee.
Exactly.
Right. And so if you're looking just straight at the fee, there's always going to be something that's lower cost that you could find. I think Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab all have a free robo-advisor that will do 99% of your investments, like to in terms of risk-based allocation.
Right. Yeah. That's I could not agree more. I just that you're paying 1.25 for the low level of fruit here of investing, where I think we've hit that. So let's keep going. Penelope says, "Hey Josh, I was hoping you'd ask Amar what his opinions are about annuities. Some of us annuity folks got beat up pretty good on your income annuities are looking very good video I did." So that's Penelope. So what's your thoughts on annuities, Amar? Are they evil?
No, I mean, annuities are not evil. I mean, like pensions, and you would have to say pensions are evil, right? Because an annuity is basically the same product as a pension, but that pension is not supplemented with the business cash flow. It's supplemented by getting thousands of individuals and pulling the risk costs amongst a larger pool, right? So I guess it'd be important to say like who would be a good candidate for annuity or for I guess like the income part of the annuity, and because we're talking about pensions, and I what we use as a rule of thumb is of your essential expenses, you want to cover 40 to 60% of those from stable income sources.
I cannot agree more. Yep.
So that could be Social Security, that could be pension, that could be an annuity income stream, right? If you're more conservative, then you probably want closer to 60% of those essential expenses covered. If you're more aggressive, you'll probably be okay at 40%. If you do anything more than that, then you're potentially leaving chips on the table from a standpoint of risk on your portfolio, ability to spend extra earnings, right? Because that guaranteed income stream, is a longevity risk factor that they're factoring. So if you don't live as long, then the insurance company wins, right? So some of those dollars you could have spent earlier. So yeah, I think that's just my 2 cents.
I agree more. The idea that annuities are inherently bad is stupid, but well, give us your Social Security then. We're in deep end of the pool now, my friends. Very important information. Thanks, Josh and Amar. As long as Amar doesn't pee in the water, we're good. Silent Cal says, what does Amar think of third-party financial advisory services like Money Pickle? I'm not even familiar with that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Money Pickle is like a advisor dating service, if I'm not wrong, where it kind of links you with, here's 3 or 4 advisors.
Like Smart Asset.
Like Smart Asset and like all of them. I mean, look, we're part of one of those services. I think we have Wealth Tender and another one that's out there. I'm forgetting the name because we hardly get any traction from them. But the idea is, I would say these services are good if you can't find an advisor on your own, right? Like if you need an advisor, I think the first couple steps would be figuring out an advisor that works, that has experience with your type of situation. That's like not the first thing that I would look at. Second thing is that they have the education background and they're staying up to date in terms of knowledge of the changing rules and laws and stuff like that. And then third is like a likability factor, right? And if these dating services or matching services, whatever you want to call them, help you find an advisor, then that's great. But you've got to do your own due diligence. Once you match with somebody, you got to do all the background research and all that to make sure that they're a right fit for you.
My man, this guy, the FTM22 says, please talk to your family about your health and estate planning. My mother did not, and it's been a horror show. I cannot stress that enough, my man, because just again, as working with clients all the time, saying, have we had this discussion with your kids, your parents, your successor trust? For instance, Amar, I have a revocable living trust. Okay, who's the successor trustee? Well, it's Uncle Bob. Where's Uncle Bob? Well, he's in a nursing home now. Have we ever thought about maybe renaming a successor trustee because Uncle Bob is no longer? You see what I'm saying? These are the kind of stuff. These just simple questions. Well, I was worried about naming my daughter as it because she was, 18 years old and was dating some clown. She's 37 now. I think it's probably okay to see if she can be the successor trustee for sure. I can't say this can be considered an avocation. So, Amar, what does Drew God say?
Says that I'm a smart dude. Woohoo!
It's not being a compliant violation.
Yeah.
Then JK, company controlled pension or take a lump sum and put in your own annuity. I mean, there's no way Amar could answer that. I'm going to. Well, go ahead, Amar. You might have something to say about that. But
no, I mean,
don't know the situation.
Reach out to us and we can talk about that more.
There's no way to.
If you have a specific question, or I'm more than happy to spend, like 15, 20 minutes on the phone, take a legal pad out and just give you some just general advice. But reach out to us through our website or follow us, or what's it called?
Say your website again, Amar. What's your website again?
Clientfirstcap.com.
Clientfirstcap.com is his website. And there's links to the YouTube channel and the whole thing over there.
Yep.
All right.
Subscribe,
and links to,
do all the good stuff for the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah. And links to subscribe to your newsletter and all that on your website.
Yeah, it's all on the website.
Cool. Right on, Amar. Half hour's up. Let's keep it short and keep it simple. Appreciate y'all being here. And Amar, we'll see you in those weeks.
Yep. Sounds good.
Thanks.
Bye.
Man. See you guys. Thanks for being here. All right. Bye.